दीदी मेरे और बिट्टो के ना एग्जाम आ रहे हैं, तो एक काम कर, अच्छे से ना हम दोनों को मोटिवेट करते। हाँ बेटा, मैं भी बहुत दिनों से सोच रही हूँ कि योगा स्टार्ट करूँ, पता नहीं मन ही नहीं होता। देख, मेरी ना रेस है और मुझे प्रैक्टिस करने में बहुत आलस आता है। क्या करूँ वो बता दे। सभी का स्वागत है, आइए बैठिए। बिट्टो, ये एग्जाम ना तो अपन टॉप करेंगे। आज ही एक पूरा सब्जेक्ट खत्म कर डालते हैं, चल। सही बात है, अगर सुनाया को इम्प्रेस करना है ना तो भाई ये रेस तो जीतनी पड़ेगी। चल बिट्टो, अपन तो बिना पढ़े भी पास हो जाते हैं। अब तो वैसे भी हमने थोड़ी बहुत पढ़ाई कर ही ली है, अब तो अपन पक्का टॉप मारेंगे। चल अभी रहने देते हैं, अभी फ्रेंड्स देखते, ठीक है। चल। सही बात है। अरे आज तो घर पे गेस्ट आने वाले हैं ना, आज तो बहुत काम है, आज तो नहीं हो पाएगा। चनाया के सामने बेइज्जती तो तब होगी ना जब मैं रेस में हारूंगा। मैं जाऊंगा ही नहीं तो हारने और जीतने का तो सवाल ही नहीं उठता। ये सही है। Doesn't this happen with all of us? Like one day you're like yay and one day you're like yeah, and then you feel this self-doubt kind of thing, or you feel worthless, that out of all people it's only you who can't do it, you'll never make it, and blah blah blah. But trust me, there's nothing wrong with you. It happens with everyone. But what is wrong then? Why doesn't the motivation you get from these motivational videos, motivational quotes or pep talks last? That's because motivation is supposed to be short-lived. Therefore, it doesn't last. It's inspiration that you need to chase. Like, you can also call it inspiration as permanent motivation if you want to say. So in today's video, we are going to address two questions. That is, one, why doesn't this motivation you get from the videos, quotes and pep talks last? And number two is steps how to get inspired. That is how to achieve permanent motivation. So let's dive into it. Question number one, why doesn't motivation last? So what is a motivational video after all? It's a person who is telling you the same thing, you can do it in 100 different ways. For example, let us compare two speakers. Speaker 1, he is doing the same thing. He is giving you the boost that you can do it, come on, you are worth it, you can achieve your dreams, and etc. etc. And there's a speaker 2 who is not saying this you more often. He's rather saying I. Like he's actually telling you his story. I did this when I was struggling. I did this when I achieved something. He gives you an entire roadmap what he followed which led him or her to success. A speech or a video after watching, you say like, kya bandi hai yaar, or kya banda hai yaar, like what a journey, right? And because that person gave you their own story, you find this speaker more practical. Because the speaker 1 also says nothing is impossible and all. Yeah? So the speaker 1 surely gives you confidence for your initial phase, which is important. But the speaker 2 is more practical and more relatable. Because speaker 1 is motivating you, while speaker 2 is inspiring you. Who do you think is more important? That boost or that roadmap? So, but how to achieve this inspiration? Let's dive into question 2 for that. Number 2. Steps on how to be inspired or how to get permanent motivation. So step number 1 is find that person. Here what you have to do is you have to find a person who has already achieved what you want to achieve right now. Like if you want to grow your startup, find a person who began his startup from scratch and now surely has gained recognition in the business world. Or find the topper of that exam which you want to crack. Or find a person who actually lost that amount of weight which you want to right now and is living a healthy lifestyle. This person is very important because he or she is going to be your source of inspiration through your entire journey. Step number 2, dig in their past. Here what you have to do is that you have to find out the entire journey of that person towards success. You need to know what used to be their routine, what were their struggles, how did they cope up with it, everything. And this step is surely going to demotivate you a lot because you'll realize that the journey towards success is surely not a cakewalk. You have to put in the effort. But to counter this, we have step number 3. Step number 3, know their present. Now in this step, you have to stalk that inspirational person. Like on any platform where you can get to know their personal lives. You have to know that after all that struggle, how is life treating them now? Like, where do they go for vacations? How many cars do they own? What their house look like? Or how are they looking in that pictures with that fit body and everything? Here you will realize that that 1 year that you devoted to fitness, or those 2 years you devoted to crack that exam, or those 5 years of struggle you devoted to get your business kick started, that amount of time is so small, because after that you will be rewarded with an entire life ahead full of satisfaction. What is more, 50 years of satisfaction or 5 years of struggle? Can't you put that much of amount of time to achieve your goals? So now just compare them, their life when they were struggling, and compare their days of glory. You'll know the answer what you want to do next. Step number 4, imagination. Now you know both sides of the coins. What the struggle is, what their glory is. But how is this going to help you? Now we are going to take advantage of the brain mechanics here. For 1 hour, you have to imagine that you have achieved everything you wanted. This sounds childish, but please do this. Act exactly like that you have achieved everything you ever wanted. You know what this will do? Only the idea of this success is going to give your brain a crazy amount of dopamine rush. That kind of dopamine rush which you can't get from social media or Netflix binge watching. And after you do this, after 1 hour, when you get back to reality, your brain is going to crave for that kind of happy hormone rush. And this will actually mentally prepare you to get started with that hustle, because it's like drugs. Like, you want it. Your brain will be like, I want that sort of happiness, because it has never experienced it, earlier in life. But our main problem is not getting started. Our main problem is how to remain consistent. So for that, we have a next step 5. Step number 5, bring your inspiration into your life. Now in this step, what you have to do is, as step number 4 has already prepared you mentally to get started, step number 5 will keep you going, okay? Here what you have to do is, that inspiration person that you chose in step number 1, you have to get a picture of them and place it anywhere in your workspace. You can also make it your wallpaper of desktop or mobile phone. Now whenever you feel like giving up, what you have to do is, just before giving up, just look at that picture and imagine when this person was going through this rough patch, what he or she might have done. Just think about it. Doing this automatically will revise you through step number 1 to 4. And after doing this, you can surely take a break, because now you're surely inspired, and that break that you're taking will end. And after the break is done, you'll get back to work. And I assure you this. But because consistency is very hard, we also have step number 6, which will, add up to this consistency. Step number 6, the next day. Here what you have to do is, every night before sleeping, you just have to ask yourself one question. Was today a success? And that inner voice will surely give you the true answer. Like, today, did I just sit in front of my book for hours? Or did I actually study? Your entire day will flash back inside your head, and you will see what mistakes you made throughout the day. And so doing this, when you wake up the next morning, you will be motivated, you will be inspired enough to correct all your mistakes from the previous day. And doing this again and again will surely, keep pushing you. Slowly and slowly, if you do all these steps again and again, one day you won't need an external source of motivation. You yourself will be your source of motivation, because you'll be like, मैंने तब कर लिया था, या like मैंने कल किया था, तो मैं आज क्यों नहीं कर सकता या कर सकती. So as the name suggests that this is the part 1, here I explained you how to gain that inspiration from a person who has already achieved what you want to. In part 2, I'll be telling about like how you can get inspired from the people who are just around you, like who you have to see on daily basis, and a lot more important things. So after 2 weeks, when I'll be posting the part 2, please come back as you always do. And thanks for watching. This is the last call for participant number 5, Vivek Agnihotri. OMG, who is this Vivek Agnihotri? Like, I just don't like quitters, okay? Ugh. Hey, look at Akash. He's coming last, but he's still completing the race, huh? I really like the sportsman spirit.